Sunday in California.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy, where everything is canon and the topics, well, they're more like a set of guidelines. I am joined here today by my favorite rooftop Korean. We have Chris Infinitel.
Hey, yobaseyo.
Nix is busy having dinner with her family, so she will be here shortly, because we always know Nix is never late. She always arrives precisely when she means to. That is now part of our lore. So how you doing, Chris?
Glad the week is behind me. Woo!
It's been a week. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. I just want to say right off the bat before we get in the headlines, I my heart goes out to all the people affected by the California wildfires. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I hate your guts. Losing a home is a tragic thing, and
Yeah.
I don't care. You know, like, I know some people were like giddy that Mark Hamill lost his home. No, I don't like a lot of the stuff Mark Hamill says, but he doesn't deserve to lose his home. Okay.
Yeah. Don't tap dance on graves.
Now, the Phoenix Press audience is pretty cool, so I know none of you guys did that, and thank you. But I've seen some other people do it, and that's not cool. And I just wanted to kind of extend that. But we got two pretty good headlines. So shall we just jump right into it, sir?
Sure.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
First off, just want to say hi to the fake guy. How you doing,
Hey.
brother? All right, let's just get this overlay going. I'm a little bit behind the times on here, but this is a headline hysteria. We're talking about all the things that are important, just maybe not important enough for a full episode. Let's get the small one out of the way, then we'll talk about the big one. So, Chris, the game that you concepted long ago, Assassin's Creed
God.
Shadows,
Oh,
it has
God.
been delayed from February. It has been taken. Oh, hey Tan, how you
Hey.
doing, my friend? How you doing? It has been taken out of February and into March. What do you think about that? What does that say to you?
Yeah, apparently it launches on the day of the sarin gas attacks in Tokyo. So, yeah, good for them. That really shows respect. Yeah, that really shows reverence for the Japanese.
Ubisoft just cannot stop taking L's with this game.
Well, the thing is like, I just want to put it out there. Like, I never worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Okay, I did not conceive the game or any of that. Like, it was amazing how quickly some YouTubers took what I had said, which was basically making a bitch post about how frustrated I was that every game that I worked on, because every freaking game studio that I worked for was a game as a service, and when those services go, so does everything that you have to show for your work, meaning that I wasted a decade of my life with nothing to show for it, except for some install discs that don't do anything and a bunch of promotional media for a game that doesn't exist anymore. So I was lamenting. I'm like, the only thing that I still had left was I was contracted out, you know, because Ubisoft, it's really weird how Ubisoft works as a company, because they're not just Ubisoft. They are a conglomeration of contracted out separate companies. And I had worked for a company, it was at the time, it was called Area Games. It's a Russian, you know, it had headquarters in Tokyo. And we were working on like mobile shit. Like, they did these like awful like MMO things. They were producing like really garbage MMOs, Asian MMOs, by the way. So
I think I remember seeing the Area Games logo.
Yeah, well, they don't exist anymore. But we got contracted out.
Screw you, John Longbach. Screw you. I love your stuff. Keep it going. Sorry.
Well, so it was weird because when I got hired at this company, the only reason why I even bothered with this company, by the way, it was a mobile project we were working on, to clarify, okay, was they had like Skype interviews because I was down in San Diego and they were up in Silicon Valley. And they're like, hey, we're going to do a Skype interview, blah, blah, blah. And I get in this interview, and these two dudes who were talking to me, they're at a conference table, and they suddenly put it on mute. And they start like talking to each other or like whispering to each other or something. And then they're looking at me, pointing and laughing. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, is this going to be one of those waste my time where there's a bunch of, because that's how this industry is. It's run by childish morons. But like, so I'm like, they're just going to make fun of me and then hang up on me or something. Like, what do I look stupid? Do I have something in my nose? What is it? And apparently after the interview, it went really well after that point. And they hired me. And I ended up talking with one of the producers. I'm like, what the hell was that all about? He's like, dude, while you were giving an interview, we weren't allowed to tell you the project that you were going to be working on until we got an NDA signed and all this shit, because we're being contracted out by Ubisoft. And I'm like, oh, what game is he? He's like, it was Assassin's Creed, obviously. And behind you had a giant Ezio poster. And that's what we were laughing about, was we're like, of all the interviewers that we interviewed, nobody even heard of this crap or weren't really into it. Meanwhile, you got this huge ass poster and, you played all the games. You're 100% familiar with it. It's like, we couldn't have found a better fit. Like, great.
So you thought it was negative, but it was actually positive.
Yeah. And I got the job. We went out, they flew us out to Tokyo. And meanwhile, I wore many hats because, again, this is a mobile game. The Ubisoft guys, if you can understand them, because every time you cannot understand their broken English, they're giving us basically they're like, we want a mobile game to work as a companion piece for our upcoming titles. And we're an evergreen developer or whatever. So like half the shit that you make, we're going to use elsewhere and so on. Like if there are things that other studios make, like say there's a UI that we're going to be using, like a specific, what do they call it? Like a style guide. They'll send it over to us with the assets and be like, this is what you should use so that it's on brand. Mm-hmm. We're like, okay. So we're doing all that shit. And I ended up, they're like, well, we don't have a game. Like we've got
that just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, they're like, we got we got the mechanics of the game. We're going to be ripping off these like Japanese style games for mobile, but we don't actually have like what's the context or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I did narrative work when I worked over at on Defiance, and when I worked at Firefall, and when I worked over at that unreleased Project Offset thing. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'm already doing multiple.
Yes, you worked for the expensive bus company.
Yes, I work for the overpriced, let's do everything but a game company. And so, there I am. I'm writing, I'm on the narrative team and I'm writing stuff. And I'm joined by two other guys, two very talented guys, by the way, probably more talented than me. And I don't care. Egos aside, they were probably better at it.
I mean, it's good to be humble. So,
well, it's being honest too. Like, like you got to look when you're in a job, you got to make sure that the best person for the job is running it. And this guy, Jesse, was clearly a better narrative designer than me. So I was like, okay,
no shame in that.
Yeah. So we're writing, we're in Tokyo, and it's like, okay, let's go visit some shrines. I need to learn about Shintoism, because half of what we're going to do for this story is going to be focused on Shintoism, which is a 100% intrinsic religion of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to as a love letter to Japan when we're making this mobile game story about was it Yamaucha Taka, which again, the character's name falls in line with the branding, because every character up to that point, their name meant eagle or bird of prey or something in that native language. Was it Altair meant like the flyer or like the, some type of eagle. And then Ezio obviously is Italian for eagle, all that shit. So we're like, okay, let's start from there. I interviewed people. I took notes. I took more photographs than a Tokyo tourist, did all sorts of shit. Got all this stuff down. I'm like, okay, we got a shit ton of information. And they're like, dude, you're like autistic levels of dedicated to this. I'm like, it's because I love Assassin's Creed, dude. I remember when I first played Assassin's Creed 2, and I'm inside Il Duomo, which is a famous, if you've ever, seen pictures of Italy, and you're like, oh, it's that giant, I was like, oh shit, like I'm in there, and it's a 100% faithful replication of that. And apparently it started solidifying the Assassin's Creed brand as a historical, like there was reverence to history there. So History Channel even had a special about it where they actually had like a mini series or a mini episode about Ezio's dad in it, and it was freaking badass. It was all about the Medicis and the whole War of the Roses, like all that stuff.
And say what you will, that is something that the Assassin's Creed series has carried on to this day. Like I know, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey had like the tour mode, to where like you could actually tour some of the ancient Greek stuff. Like I actually saw videos of like a teacher was like doing a history lesson on Greece, and he had AC Odyssey up and he was showing it as a visual aid. And I'm sorry, but that's actually really cool.
Yeah, when the Notre Dame Cathedral was burned down, they used the what Ubisoft had collected for image data, a 3D walkthrough of the Cathedral of Notre Dame from Assassin's Creed Unity, and it's like this is legit. Like, this is the positive side of autism, dude. Like this is where people shine with this stuff, and I
Weaponized
wholeheartedly love it.
autism can actually be used for a force of good.
It can be, and it was amazing to be a part of that. And we're like, I learned all about Shintoism. I learned about like the history of the Sengoku Jidai, which is the Warring States period. Basically, it was what brought kind of Japan into like it's what made Tokyo Tokyo, because the winner of all of that the city used to be called Edo, and when Tokugawa Ieyasu won, basically they renamed it to Tokyo after him. So yeah, useless factoids like that, but it was. I learned all about the different families. I learned all about like ninja. Like I learned that ninja wasn't actually a real word until like the 1950s. So they were never called ninja during the during all that stuff. The
Were they
shinobi.
just called? Yeah, they're called shinobi.
Yep, and yeah, all sorts of really cool stuff. So we end up working on that, and the company was so mismanaged, dude. So I spent all that time in Japan getting all that information. We've been writing stuff, bouncing stuff back and forth. We send it out to Ubisoft, get it torn to shreds, dude. There were so many times like we were like fell in love with what we had written, which is very bad as a professional writer because you're not the customer, So you send it out to them, and they're like, "This is shit," and I'm like, I can't understand broken English, but I definitely understood that. And
Swear words are universal.
Yeah. So we ended up doing a whole bunch of back and forths, and I was like, why are they riding us so hard? What the hell? And it was, well, because Ubisoft has a giant like Bible, like a lore Bible and a timeline. And, we had this explained to us, like, you can't make something anachronistic. You cannot make something that coincides with an already existing Assassin's Creed game or story or whatever, because unless it adheres to that stuff, you are going to break canon. And we do not want to do that. I'm like, okay, I respect that. Like, I was originally frustrated, but when it was explained to me like that, I'm like, you know what?
Like take for example, let's say you have this piece of Eden. Let's say it's a shepherd's crook or whatever. And let's say in Japan you find the shepherd's crook piece of Eden. We're like, wait, this shepherd crook is supposed to be on the other side of the world, and it's going to be found by people 100 years later, and there's no way that the shepherd's crook can get from here to there in that hundreds of years. Like that, I'm just trying to contextualize it for the audience.
Yeah, and it made me appreciate the property more when I realized that they had this much of a stickler for detail and a love for the property. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And we finally got something that everybody was happy with, and we sent it out. And I remember some of the arguments, like when I remember when I had proposed, like, so we followed a piece of Eden, and you had mentioned that as an example. And in my opinion, as a layman that enjoyed Assassin's Creed 1, 2, all of the Ezio trilogy, and we were going into Assassin's Creed Black Flag, my understanding was there was a meta story between the Assassins and the Templars. It was two factions throughout history that were fighting each other.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there were these things from the precursors called Pieces of Eden, the Apple of Eden, the Staff of Eden, all that stuff. And I thought, well, what could we do from a mythological perspective to make an item, a MacGuffin, as they call it in writing terms, something that we could follow? And I thought Excalibur. I thought, holy shit, we could follow Excalibur in this game because it was anthology. Instead of it being...
that actually make for a really good Assassin's Creed game. Like, what if Lancelot was an assassin?
Yeah, well, basically...
an Arthurian Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be beholden to the same levels of historical accuracy because the Arthurian legends are just that, legends. But like the idea was the sword of Excalibur was actually lost. Remember when it was returned to Nimue, the Lady of the Lake, and all that stuff at the end of Le Morte d'Art? So why not follow that from England or France or wherever the stories took place, follow that across into the Mongol Empire where Genghis Khan acquired the Sword of Eden. And that's why he became so damn dominant in the Mongol Empire and all that stuff. And then it gets lost. And then it comes over to China, and from China it gets. If you recall, there was a Assassin's Creed mini movie called Embers, where we see the death of Ezio. So we literally get from the day he was born to the day he dies, Ezio's story. But Ezio relinquishes the Apple of Eden to a Chinese assassin. She brings it back to China to fight the evil emperor there. But the emperor had power. Where did he get that power? Oh, he had Excalibur. So she takes the sword and needs to remove it from China. So she brings it to Fusang, which is the Chinese word for Japan. And she ends up big shipwreck or whatever, gets it there. And that's where Oda Nobunaga gets it. And that's how he becomes so unfairly powered. And as a result, it was this stupid, and I just remember, we did not want to have a story about the pizza beaten of the week, and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we scrapped that whole idea. We scrapped most of that. But they really liked the Sengoku Jidai story. They liked the fact that you have a young Shinto priest who basically takes in a soldier from this from the fallout of the assassination or the defeat of Oda Nobunaga. He was betrayed, and this guy's getting basically framed for the betrayal, and his name was Hattori Hanzo.
All right, I'm just gonna say this. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is the AC Shadows we all wanted.
Yes, yeah. That's so. With all of our discussions, and I apologize if this is long-winded, but all of our discussions,
it's good stuff, and I didn't want to interrupt you. So
okay, well,
wrap it up.
Okay, so to finish it off, from my understanding, after we left Ubisoft or whatever, I talked to a couple of people, and they're like, "Dude, like the even if the mobile game shits out, the story is now canonized. It's locked into the timeline because it's officially out there. People have played it. It's in the public. It's in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
You can't then retcon that because that will break Ubisoft.
Oh, but canon is such an obstacle.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, I guess the idea was that like we had solidified a decent story, and whether or not it actually went on something successful like the game or not. It was the idea that at the end of the day, I have left my mark. I left my stink in the industry that I had left. I haven't been in game development for over a decade now.
Yeah.
So with that said, I have something I can look back on fondly. And then when they announced Assassin's Creed Shadows, which takes place during the Sengoku Jidai, and it involves Oda Nobunaga, and when we had written Yasuke, he was a very small footnote, if not anything. He was a curiosity. He was a sideshow freak. He was not this tragic, whatever the hell they made him in this like weird that's not Yasuke. I'm sorry, but you can look at the imagery that exists of this guy, and that does not look anything like him. But
Yasuke was not a samurai.
Yeah, Yasuke means the black one, if that's any indication of how much Oda Nobunaga had for this guy. But
Yasuke was a court jester to Nobunaga.
Pretty much, it was Dan.
I'm avoiding saying a certain word.
Yeah, and it's incredible, dude. It's incredibly racist, but guess what? History was racist. Yeah,
I'm avoiding that word.
Yep, that's exactly the same word I was thinking. Yeah.
And
so I was just like really heartbroken. I was crestfallen. I was like, oh my god, what is this? This has nothing to do with anything. Like, where the hell's Taka? Who the hell is these other Naue or whatever? Like, what is going on? And then I wrote that stupid that message, and I just splayed out basically what we had worked on and how it's all trash now. It doesn't exist. And suddenly these YouTubers just took that shit and they're like, former lead designer on Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Dude, you got a promotion.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, how did that happen?
You know how these things are. They take a scrap of they take a passing remark from a developer and they make a 10-minute video out of it. No, 11-minute video on it because they want that ad break.
And it was never meant as a mean-spirited dig at the people at Ubisoft, the people working on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I was just more frustrated that I don't have anything to show for my work for the 10 years I wasted at that industry. But like, I'm looking at what they're doing with Assassin's Creed Shadows, and all that aside, dude, I am not like, this was their Hail Mary. This was during our discussions. This was the, okay, well, if the
break
mobile
glass
game
if
dies,
we're screwed.
If the mobile game dies, we still have this as a part of our established lore so that we can build that will be our Assassin's Creed ninjas that everybody's been asking for since Ezio.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, movie theater asked us a question, and I wanted to bring it up. Did you guys hear about the Nintendo Switch 2?
Oh yeah.
So apparently everyone is like, okay. There was a theory I saw on Reddit that Nintendo was planning on revealing the Switch 2 in December,
Mhm.
and all of these companies were going to do it at CES. That theory makes, like, if you think about, like, in the context, it does make a lot of sense. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, Nintendo. Like I've known people that work for Nintendo Japan, and I like they. From what I've gathered, this thing's been in the oven for a very long time, and they've been holding out because our economy is in the toilet, and it was very smart of them to not release during the PS5, Xbox Series X window because those consoles are a huge disappointment.
And the Switch was selling like hotcakes during COVID.
Yep. You don't want to cannibalize something that's already selling successfully.
And I also think the reason why they're delaying it is they know they're very close to dethroning Sony. Like they thought they did this. So like, actually, we found 5 million more sold.
Yeah. Well, that
so petty, so petty.
well, that and like Nintendo understands that hardware doesn't sell consoles, games sell consoles. So I am excited to see what games they are going to showcase, because this is probably one of the bigger console manufacturers that understand nobody gives a shit about hardware specs. I don't know what teraflops are. I don't care if I can get DSLSS AI
here's the other thing. DLS is actually kind of an important thing. Is with DLSS, with AI upscaling, you can have a console that's technically PS4 Pro levels, or I've even heard rumors that it's Xbox Series S level of power. But with upscaling, it can compete with modern consoles. So this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. My thing is, though, is like, to the average consumer, they just want to see what the games look like. You know what I mean? Like, show me Super Mario Odyssey 2, or show me whatever the new Mario game is, or the new first party, what Metroid Prime 4 is going to look like. Show me that, and that's where you'll get, my money.
As far as the price movie theater, I think probably what they might do is $350, $400 for the base model, and then $450 for a premium model with OLED. I think they might do that. Like, let's say the base model is $400. Let's say it's $350, and it's 256 storage internal, 1080p screen, and the premium model is like 1 terabyte, has OLED, 1080p. I can see that.
My biggest worry, though, is I hope to God Nintendo isn't following, and they clearly are showing indicators of this, following the anti-consumer Western business models. I don't want a console that is connected to the internet, that single-player games require a handshake over some remote server. I don't want to create 20 accounts. Like, I want to put a game in a freaking console and play it, and I don't want to worry about anything else.
I think we might be spared from that by the virtue of this is still a handheld, and even Nintendo is not stupid enough to create a handheld that requires an internet connection.
Oh God, I hope. I mean, never underestimate the stupidity of people. I hope you're right. I really do. I want to remain optimistic on that, because that to me is why I still play my Switch and why every other console I have is collecting dust.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I traded out my Switch for a Steam Deck, but yeah. And we got a comment over on Twitch. If the games are digital, then it has to connect to the internet.
Yep.
Yes and no. Like, if you're doing like let's say Fortnite, then yeah, it has to connect to the internet. But like something like Mario, I don't know.
Well, if you download it from the eShop and it has to do, what is it, like a 30-day handshake? Like, if it hasn't connected in 30 days, then it goes, hey, you need to connect to the internet to verify that you own this software.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot more tolerable than like constantly having to connect, in my opinion.
I don't like the crap that they're pulling with Square Enix now, where they're like, if you make one of our developers, you hurt their fees, yeah, we can shut down your game. I'm like, you know what? I paid you $70 for this overpriced piece of crap. If you don't freaking let me do whatever the hell I want to it, i.e. mod it with lewd Tifa things or whatever, then yeah, you can go die in a fire. Like, I'm tired
Like,
of these console
it's
games.
one thing to deny internet services. That's like an ongoing thing. But the game you pay for, that is a class action lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, well, on top of that, they've been finagling this for years, where they're like, you don't actually buy the games. You buy an access license that permits you access to the game that can be rescinded at any time. This is why I emulate.
That's like most platforms, which honestly is a segue into our main topic. Sorry, Chris. You were doing a good segue. So, the main topic was kind of spurred on with the recent changes to the Twitter. Yes, I'm always going to call it Twitter's algorithm, which was completely in response to Elon Musk getting ratioed over the. We're not going to talk about the controversy because that's way beyond the scope of this podcast. But he got ratioed, and almost instantly he changed the algorithm like a crybaby.
Yeah, he took his ball and went home.
But that does kind of beg the question. Obviously, all as content creators, we're all trying to get noticed. We're all trying to do our thing. And the question is, to me, has always been positivity versus negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like Chris, I'm sure you've heard the advice, like, oh, you want to get noticed? Say something outlandish to make people mad or whatever. I heard that advice. We've all gotten that advice. But I think we're kind of starting to move past that. But even then, I don't know. I've never kind of been like, I'll do some clickbaity stuff. I'll do some enticing, but I don't want to be the person that deliberately says stupid thing to get attention. I just feel like it's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I stayed out of the drama stuff. Like, I'm kind of allergic to drama. And yeah, I mean, maybe because I've stayed out of the drama, I'm less noted. Fewer people know my product. But I'd rather, like, at the end of the day, I can live with myself. I don't have.
At least you deliver. At least you deliver Infinite Town Chronicles.
That is true.
Sorry, I had to take the required dig. But fake guy, yeah, emulation is great. Both me and Chris are hardcore emulators, so
oh boy,
you're among friends here. Oh god, your emulation setup is amazing. Just by the way.
God, it's sitting across the room from me right now, calling me.
Players.
Yep.
Hey Chris, do you want to let's take a show break, Chris? Someone's asking you about your product. How about you answer the question?
Sure.
But before we do that, I wanted to welcome to the frenzy, Buddy Girl Nix.
Hey.
All right, Chris. Chill.
All right. Well, yeah. If you're into fantasy comics, things that harken back to 80s and 90s Dungeons and Dragons, Saturday morning cartoons with a little bit of an edge to it, you can check out Infinitale Chronicles. It originally started as something that I did this when I was 12 years old. I initially started as a tabletop role-playing game. Infinitale, obviously it's a portmanteau, infinite and tale. It's kind of like EverQuest. It's at the time I thought it was cute and everything, but I'm like, oh my God, nobody can pronounce this damn thing. But the idea is that it's an ongoing series of basically it was originally inspired by Welsh, Celtic, Irish, a lot of Scandinavian myths, all rolled together. This is before the age of Google, so I had free range of the Pelham Public Library and made very, very good use of all of the books they had there.
Second Genesis. There's a second Sega Genesis?
Yeah. Second Genesis is a kind of play on the term that the elves that you see in that the Elfar people, they've been lied to their whole lives, including the origin of how they came to be. Their entire world, everything, the utopia that they've lived in, eternal beauty, eternal youth, all that stuff was all a lie. And then when they learned their true history, their true Genesis, it became the second Genesis.
All of them were deceived. For another seed was conceived.
Well, at the end of the day, they found themselves the bearers of this burden that they knew the truth and they were being hunted by their own gods. And when they tried to convince their own people of this, they were basically shot down, castigated, and almost killed. Well, actually, a lot of them were killed because the truth is more dangerous than the fiction that was.
Did you do the web design for this?
Yes, I did.
Oh God, this is. I need to have you do my website. Like seriously, this is like quality work.
Oh, thanks. It's just WordPress, but yeah, it's
No, it's like it's good.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, if you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, Record of Lodoss Saga, Conan the Adventurer, all of that, Pirates of Darkwater, it kind of follows that because again, these were things that I loved. These were the things that I enjoyed when I was a very young kid back in the 90s, and all of the characters in this story, I kind of cheated in a way because these were actual players. Like I chronicled the Infinitale tabletop role playing game that I was developing. And this first story, we play them out of order. This was not actually the first game campaign that we did, but what we're seeing here is something that I had done probably in early high school, where I had used the Welsh myth of the Cad Gatho, the War of the Trees, which is a highly contested Welsh edition. Or it's a poem, I believe, in the Mabinogia, which is the Welsh kind of collection of mythology.
Well, if you want to check it out, the link is in the comments. Check it out. Nix, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Woohoo! So, what do you think about the Switch 2 stuff?
I have no thoughts. I just don't care until it actually comes out.
All right, so we are just getting onto the main topic when you arrived precisely when you mean to. Yes, we have a phrase, Nix. I think I've said it to you before, but a Nix is never late. She arrives precisely when she means to.
That is true.
So yeah, we're talking about how Elon got ratioed, and then he changed the website, and then so that kind of beckons positivity versus negativity. So which one do you think is kind of more important when it comes to like building a brand or just interacting online? What do you think?
Positivity, definitely.
And why is that?
Well, because if you base your brand off of negativity, what do you have exactly?
Yeah.
If all you tell your customers is what you don't have or what you don't like, then people are going to be like, okay, so what's here then?
Well,
yeah, it's
unfortunately negativity is more successful.
The way
it attracts more attention. Bad news is more profitable than good news. Sorry.
That is true. But here's how I put it. Negativity is like a roaring flash fire. It's big, it's bright, but it's honestly short lasting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas positivity is more of a controlled burn. It's not as tall, but it's refined and it lasts for a very long time. Well, yeah, go ahead.
I just find that like it's kind of a sad truth of business where outrage gets clicks and clicks is profit, and profit and exposure.
Engagement is the currency that currently runs the world.
It is, and unfortunately, you can't moralize people or browbeat them or shame them into being morally correct. You know what I mean? You can't be like, it's kind of like why all the leftist woke stuff isn't selling, because they're like, you should be celebrating rainbow stuff. You should be celebrating black people. You should be, and people are like, dude, I don't care. I just want a good game. Like all this other stuff is just, it's
why you have people on the right who are trying to do a similar thing, and they're wondering why. Wait, you guys were with us for like 8 years. Why are you always against us now? Like, no.
Yep.
You were allies of convenience at best.
Yep. Yeah. You can't tell people how to feel, and unfortunately, most people feel negative, and it's a curse of humanity. We gravitate toward the car wreck, like we would rubberneck at an accident. Like we don't want to see the dismembered corpse, but we're gonna look anyway.
Gawker slow down is a thing.
Yeah.
It's like how many times you've been driving and there's like this big slowdown, and then when you realize, oh, there's just an accident. That's why it slowed down, and you get all pissed but you're looking as well. Like,
Yep.
like you're all pissed, like, God, God, but you're still looking.
There better be blood. But yeah,
I only count 2 displaced limbs. This is a segment.
But it's like that. I can see it how like you were using the analogy of fire. Like that's how the flash gets people's attention. The small smoldering embers, they don't, and it really sucks because it's like when I was a kid, I sat at the lunch table with anybody. I sat with the jocks, the nerds, the goths, the geeks, the whole gamut, you know. And it never occurred to me that like the cliques that they formed, like they all seem to be cool with me. Like I've never been told you can't sit at this table like in Mean Girls. And I was friends with all of them. And it never occurred to me that like the tribalism of cliques extends past high school and into adulthood. And we see that now with these like little cultish cliques of people like you're either with us or against us.
Yeah, you got like CG, anti-CG, you got new CG, you got
I don't care what
Rippaverse, you got Iron Age, you got anti-Rippaverse. Like somehow the anti-CG and the anti-Rippaverse people hate each other for some reason. I don't know. I just want to make
sure. Exactly. Yeah, we've got books like I just want to enjoy comics, and it's not that I'm just a creator trying to freaking like parasitize off of people. Because dude, I'm a backer too. If you haven't noticed, I have a huge spinner rack that I fill long boxes with every 2 years. Like,
yeah,
I'm one of the backers too. I want to geek out about this shit, but we can't because if you say anything that isn't praising these books, if you are not a marketing extension of these books, you become a target, especially if you're a creator.
Yeah, it's like you're dealing with a lot of these creators. One thing I learned is sensitive egos. Where if you're not like putting your head up their butt, constantly crystal, or you say anything negative, you're instantly cut off. And it's just like, dude, you know?
Yeah, I got friends that they said the wrong thing and suddenly they've lost like 3/4 of their sales. Like nobody talks to them anymore. They're not allowed to go on certain streams anymore. And it's like, dude, it's a disagreement. People can have that. There's a lot of things like Nick and I disagree
and like, yeah,
with.
Beefs happen. Beefs happen. You're not gonna like everybody, you know. Yeah. But you know what adults do? You don't freaking talk about it. You don't go after them. Like, yeah, I have people in this community, people that you know that I don't like. But you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna name them.
Yeah.
Because I'm an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sucks because they're all in these little tribal cliques, these little high school cliques. And like I've lost sales. I've had people be like, "Why are you talking to that person?" I'm like, "Well, because I'm friends with him." Yeah, but he said this and this, and he insulted one of the big guys, and I'm like, "Yeah, but he's my friend. Like, he didn't insult me. Like, yeah, but dude, it's gonna ruin your thing." I'm like, if it's gonna ruin my thing, then they weren't buying my stuff.
Why do I feel like they're talking about me? Because I don't know. Well, I feel like some people have been trying to give you the talk about me.
No, dude, it's so common. The story, the thing I just said happens all the time. Like I know because I hang out with I have a friend who's very vocal, very anti-CG. Okay, I am not anti-CG. I actually have quite a few friends in CG. Okay,
I don't like CG, but like if you're CG and you're cool, I'm cool. Like I don't care what you do as long as you're cool. I'm cool. You know, whatever. Like I have CG friends, I have Rippaverse friends. Like exactly. I'm like you. I'm friends with all the cliques.
Yeah, I'm the capybara of the indie comics creators.
Everyone loves the capybara.
but it's like you get the why are you talking to that person, or that person is costing you sales, and I'm like, but they're a friend. Like this isn't about business anymore. This is just like I could lose my job tomorrow, and this whole comics thing just goes right out the window. Okay, but I'll still have these friends. You know.
Yeah. And my thing is like, yeah, I know that I have friends that are friends with people I don't like, and the only thing I say to them is like, yeah, I know, like, is anything I say, don't say it to them. That's the only thing I ask of them.
Yeah,
and I think and that's reasonable. You know, like anything I say to you, just don't repeat it to them. You know, anything I say to you in confidence or whatever, that's like, oh, Okay. We
Hey.
we.
Hey, we were
Immortal,
just
do you
talking
want to
about
come on? Immortal, do you want to come on here? Let me know. I'll send you the link here. Oh, you are always welcome on the stream. Yeah, that's Immortal Rising, everybody. He's got a great book. He's a really great dude. And me and Chris can't say enough good things about him. So
yeah, Aaron's great.
he is. But yeah, like outside of that, I don't care. Like if you're friends with them, that's fine. Like they're their own person. They're allowed to make their own decisions. Like whatever.
Yeah, well, that and it really kind of puts the negative spotlight on you if you're trying to tell people who they can't be friends with. Like, let them figure it out for themselves. Like,
exactly, because if you say, "Oh, I don't want you to be friends with that person. You need to make a choice between me or them," 9 times out of 10, they're going to choose the other person who's not telling them to make the choice.
Exactly.
You're welcome, Aaron. We love you. Yeah. So my thing is like, I'm not asking you to make a choice. Be friends with both of us. That's fine. I just want to do my own thing. It's whatever. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Nix, what can you speak on this?
I don't know. I don't have a comic.
No, we're talking about like cliques and all that stuff. I'm sure you think
cliques suck. I think the whole idea of cliques is just so stupid and juvenile.
It is.
And I don't actually know where it came from because when I was going to school, like elementary to high school, I went to 2 different high schools.
Oh.
Did I ever see cliques in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, they just tend to develop. They just tend to develop, and as time goes on, you get like factions within factions, and also Anime Night. He says hi to Phoenix and guests. So yep, happy to have you here, Anime. But yeah, it's just really weird, and we're seeing this in indie comics. Like somebody says something, they get pissed off, and they're like, "All right, fine." They take their audience. They got like a splinter group, and it's like a whole like web Venn diagram. Like, and I swear, in like a few years' time, we're gonna need like a graph chart, a flow chart, be like, okay, so they're aligned with them, they're aligned with them, they hate them, but they don't hate them, but this group hates them. It's like, oh no, going cross-eyed.
Yeah, and I don't like that minefield of, having to look to see, you can't talk to that person because your social currency will go down. Or it's like you remember in World of Warcraft you had the faction system where like you did quests for one faction group, but the other quests, like your faction points would raise with them, but it would go down with the other factions. It's like, now try juggling about 1,000 of those. Like,
ugh, that sounds so tiring.
It is.
And then you get put in a position where you have to like say something, and you know that if you say something, you're gonna piss off one group and the other group is gonna be happy. And you have no choice to be like, all right, who do I want to piss off? Kind of thing. Yeah,
well, like I hang around, like I stream with some people that like are very anti-CG, and if you notice, I'm very quiet whenever they say their shit, because I'm like, dude, just keep me out of that. Like, I'm not gonna bash those people because I have friends in there, friends outside of the like, screw the comics for a second. These are just people, like, and I'm friends with those people, and if I don't consider them lesser or better for being in this group. Like, considering,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, if you're comics gate and you believe in it and you want to talk to me, be friendly, I'll be friends with you.
Hell yeah.
Same thing goes for any group, Iron Age, Eric, Rippaverse, whatever. I don't freaking care. You're cool, we're cool.
Yeah. Man, and there's all those offshoots now too. Yeah. Like they get all these like fun little like gang names of like what is one of them called? Like the
New CG.
Oh yeah, New CG.
Then there's like War Campaign, which is like the boogeyman of independent comics. Oh god, CG Light. I remember at one point there was CG UK, which is like all the British-based comic book people. Like,
and those guys are awesome.
They are actually. I've been on the streams a bunch of times.
Yeah,
they're
man.
Cool.
Wherever Bristolian Dave is, we can all hear the.
And then you got like the factions that are not like a part of independent comics, but they cross over like Fandom Menace.
Yep.
You know, you got like the anti-Star Wars people, then you got like the anti-Disney, people who are not really part of the scene, but like they cross over because they shared interests, and then you got like the comic skate, like the gamer, like God, I'm not gonna can't say that word. I can't say that.
Oh yeah, the GG, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like the thing is like if you want to affiliate with any of those groups, good on you. You know, me personally, I don't really affiliate with anybody but myself. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't want people to tell me how to think or tell me who I should hate or whatever. So,
well, I think Chris, you're a lot like me. You don't associate with groups; you associate with people.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So, like for example, you're associating right now with me and Nix. Hi, Nix. I'm associating with you. Sorry, Nix. You're my friend.
I have to apologize.
But no, like I associate with people and not with groups, you know, and I think that's kind of the best way to go. But
yeah,
kind of rounding back to the positive and negative. I get that negative goes, and like I realize I could probably be a lot more popular if I just jumped on a bandwagon and got like negative as crap. Like if this all of a sudden became like an anti-whatever stream. Yeah, I'd probably get popular. And I might even sell more comics. Who knows? Like, there's a good chance of that. But here's the thing. The problem you get is... sorry. My health insurance is telling me to stop this. It's trying to get me to do a flu shot, so no.
Oh, no.
Well, here's the thing, chat. You guys bring up chats. I will bring them up, and I'll associate with you. I'm more than happy to associate with chat to just keep the chats going. So if you guys got any questions for me, Nix, or Chris, please feel free. More than happy to answer them as we talk. Because here's the thing about the frenzy: the topics, they're more like I said, of guidelines. So we'll just go wherever. We're like the rafting river until you hit a rock. But you know.
Well, that and kind of the beauty of a live stream is that we do have the ability to interact with chat. So yeah, I mean, we may not agree with it on everything, but at least we're talking, we're interacting and engaging, which is better than I'm going to talk at you and tell you how you should think.
Yeah, movie thinking. I mean, thank you. And his ego went 3 sizes that day.
Oh boy, stand back.
But no, it kind of all comes back to like, I really don't like hypocrites. I don't like liars. I don't like manipulation. I prefer everything to be above board. Like, honestly, it's gotten me into hot water more times than I care. Like, people saying something stupid or me being a cynical little bastard. Like, oh, you want to do a website where people can network? It's not like 5,000 people tried that. They all fail. Like,
wow. I'm rubbing off on you.
Screw you! Screw you! I'm white pill. I am white pill. I refuse to take your black pill. I will not take the black pill.
Do it.
No! I am the light. But yeah, that was kind of a thing that happened actually the other day, and fortunately, it didn't cost me a burning of the bridge. It almost did. The other person became the bigger person, and I just went along with it. But I was a total ass in that conversation. But thankfully, everything was good. Thank freaking God. But yeah.
Oh.
The books came in, and I'm doing inventory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. So yeah, anybody who ordered more Rising books, they're coming.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen some posts on Twitter. Yeah, I don't call it X either. And yeah, dude, it's looking good, man.
Yeah, like I'm sure you've seen Immortals books. They're really good. Like honestly, I think some of like 2 of like the best looking like books I've seen are yours and Immortals. And I'm not just saying that to fluff you up. I mean, partially I am, but still.
Ooh, well, yeah. Aaron did I helped him with book 1, but I pretty much was just sitting in the passenger seat when he put together book 2. Like that's all him this time, and it looks
really
gorgeous. Yeah,
yeah. I love his stuff. Honestly, like Chris, I just want to say this: your stuff is freaking gorgeous. The art, like the presentation. I've said this before. I think you're like 5 years ahead of the rest of us in terms of like just your presentation.
That's the curse of being a product designer. Working in video games and all that shit. In fact, I get told, dude, your box looks like a freaking video game when I ship that thing out.
I mean, that was probably on purpose, but yeah.
Yeah.
See, Immortal agrees, but yeah.
Sweet.
But and Nyx, I love watching your streams because you're actually very entertaining to watch on stream. I'm just gonna say it.
My screw ups are entertaining. You mean you can say it?
Fine. No, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. Or at least that's what my girlfriend told me. Oh, I realize the implications are there. No, I'm not trying to say anything now. It's just a joke. Chris is in his own class. Yeah. And then Fake Guy says, The Witcher 3 Next Gen update makes the game look absolutely gorgeous. Yes! I played a little bit of it, and oh god, I love that game. It looks so beautiful. Witcher 3 is probably like one of my favorite games of all time. Like, if I had a top 10, Witcher 3 is definitely on there.
Yeah, I replayed the Black Baron thing like 6 times just to try to get the good ending, quote unquote.
All right, so here's a little bit of question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do a top 5. What is your guys' top 5 games of all time? And chat, let me know what your guys is in. So we're kind of transitioning to just a general chat and a Q&A. So if you guys got any questions for us, you want to know anything, please let us know. But Nyx, what is your top 5 favorite games of all time?
Well, in no particular order, because I can't really choose that.
No particular order is fine.
I don't really do favorites, but in no particular order, I think it would be potentially Infinity Nikki's definitely one.
Oh, you've been talking about that a lot.
Oh yeah, because it is great. I think it, and they keep updating it too, so they are really on top of it. Majora's Mask is definitely
oh yeah
5. One of my favorite experiences in any video game ever.
Mm-hmm.
I would if this were like past Nyx, I'd have no problem saying Skyrim, but I haven't played it in so long.
Well, the Switch 2 is coming out. You have an ample opportunity to play it again.
No thanks. I'll just keep to my PC, thank you. But Twilight Princess is definitely a 3rd. Wind Waker HD would be a 4th. I say specifically HD because it has so many really cool side quests that just weren't in the original. And also the fact that you can get the optional Red Claw sail is a godsend, because oh my god, having played at least 2 episodes of that for my streams, yeah, it's so slow. I'd love to be able to sail around faster. That'd be great, thank you.
Nyx, I think I'll have to play Wind Waker HD on stream at some point, and you have to be there.
Count on it.
Okay.
As for the 5th, that's a tough one.
All right. Well,
I've been playing a lot of My Side, that new horror game that came out.
Okay.
I ended up having to stop though, because I got to a point where there's these like they're like the weeping angels from Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love those.
But it's annoying to me because it's not controller compatible, and I have a hard time playing with the keyboard. Because my brain is wired for controllers specifically.
Yeah.
But it's been really fun. So, maybe not top 5, but...
Hey, that works. So before we get to Chris, I want to read off some comments because
Well, we're talking.
yep. So Fake Guy says Witcher 3. I think he means Binding of Isaac. Baldur's Gate 3, Wasteland 3, and RE4. That's actually a really good list. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to play Baldur's Gate 3. I know people really love that. All right, and then Movie Theater King says Kingdom Hearts is number 1. Number 2 is Pokemon Black and White or X and Y. Thank you for some X and Y love. Oh my god. Number 3 is Black and White 2 due to replayability. Nice. 4 is Final Fantasy X, and 5 is all games that give me memories. Okay, all right. That is a really good list. Chris, what about you?
My top 5 is always fluctuating, so it's hard to like pin
Fair.
down 5 specific games. But off the top of my head, or at least as of this moment, I would say in no particular order. Obviously, I put Breath of the Wild in there. I love that as a Zelda game. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people said that it deviated too much from the Zelda games. Don't care. I deliberately prolonged. Yeah, I prolonged the playtime in that game, like putting off fighting the final boss just so I could stay in that world a little longer.
Oh, same.
I love that. Okay, number 2 would probably be Grand Theft Auto 3. The South Central version, the one where you basically play the Grove Street gang, and you could like be a fat guy, a jacked guy, a skinny guy, and it was all very like role playing.
San Andreas.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Andreas.
I'm sorry. Yeah, San Andreas. My bad. The reason why I mentioned that is because it takes role playing mechanics and makes them organic. It hides them from the user, so it's a very sly role playing game. You're not looking at numbers. You're looking at how your character performs based on preferred play style and preferred actions. And I found that amazing. The game's as big or as small as you want it to be. And that was amazing. And then let's see. Another one would be Fire Emblem Awakening. I'm a huge fan of SRPGs. I love the Shining Force series. But for me personally, Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS was probably the best Fire Emblem game that I played.
All right, I'm going to make you cringe, Chris. The only Fire Emblem game I've played. Take a guess.
Yeah, the Three Houses.
I've said it before. I've beaten the game and I loved it, but that's not Fire Emblem to Fire Emblem.
No, that's like a Harry Potter game with some SRPG in there. But like, not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just it's kind of an option, like a side game compared to like the main games.
Yeah,
and and it sucked because SRPGs are such a niche genre that when Fire Emblem tried to course correct and go back to their SRPG roots with Fire Emblem Engage, they lost all of the new fans they attracted with the Three Houses. Like, what the hell is this crap? Where's the Harry Potter school and the romance options?
I need to get more into Fire Emblem, honestly. And then Immortal Rising says, gamer confession. I played Civilization Revolution on PS3 until about a year ago when my PS3 died.
Oh,
rest in peace, your PS3.
Oh man. Let's see. That was 3 games, right? That was Breath of the Wild, San Andreas, and so number 4, I would probably say this one's a tough one because I like, if you're a game designer, I implore you to play a Street Fighter game because it forces you to really distill game mechanics down to their core, their very basics. And I would probably put, and I know this sounds so stupid and hipstery, but Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I think, was the pinnacle of the Street Fighter design. And it's, a lot of people hate it because it is not accessible. It is not a very accessible game. It is very hard. The parry mechanics, the frame counting, the footsies, all that stuff. But it is a micro lesson in video game design because every button, every move, every action you take has a consequence and a reward. And it's something that when you're looking at, you're judging all of that, in a split second, sometimes intuitively. And by the time you get used to the game, like once you get past that barrier to entry and you start playing the game the way that it was, quote unquote intended, it's hard to go back to other games. You're like, why is this so like basic? Why is this so slow? What's going on? So that would be my number 4. All
right. Real quick before you do number 5. I do need to visit my office real quick. Immortal Rising has a question for you. Hugh, to give a very long-winded answer to this one, please.
So SRPGs or strategy RPGs are turn-based tactics games. Instead of a real-time strategy game, you've got basically a turn system where you have units on the field that can either move in, per turn individually or per turn, and all of your units move, and then the enemy or the opponents move or whatever. Games like Shining Force, Fire Emblem. God, there's a lot of Western games that do it. I think
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics, Jeanne d'Arc. I think there's even like a God, what was it? There's a bunch of SRPGs on the PSP which are pretty amazing. There's even a Pokemon SRPG out, but it's set in like feudal Japan.
Pokemon Conquest. One is kind of like a combination of Nobunaga's Ambition and Pokemon. It's a freaking amazing game.
Yeah, it actually, one of the things that I was trying to do, I just lacked the time and resources to do it when I left the industry back in the day, was when Nintendo first announced their no, the button mashing is a good way to, like, if you lose to a button masher, it means you're not anticipating how they're playing. Like, you got to figure it out. But one of the things I was doing with SRPGs was, do you remember the Infinity Table? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So picture like a giant Android tablet that has table legs on it, okay? And it's, the screen is faced upwards, and it can read NFC chips like the Nintendo Amiibo. Mm-hmm. And now you make like a chess game or like an SRPG where you put your Pokemon Amiibo on the grid, essentially, that's displayed on that screen, and you see a little like radial menu that pops up that shows their hit points and what their moves are and all that stuff, which one you can move per turn and all that stuff. I was actually working on that for a little bit, and then I was like, God, this is a bigger endeavor than I could possibly tackle. So then I went over to comics.
Did you say your final game?
No. So this one's a tough one. From a replayability perspective, I would probably say like Super Mario Odyssey or Super Mario Galaxy. One of the 3D Super Mario games, like the 3D All Stars, is a great. That's probably the best bang you'll ever get for a buck for like 3D platformers. That all 3D All Stars? I loved every one of those games. A lot of people hated Sunshine. I loved Sunshine. I loved the flood mechanics because clearly it was carried over.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, dude, if the Switch 2 announcement comes with a Super Mario Sunshine 2, that's a day one for me.
Right? Yes, I've been waiting
Super Mario Brothers Sunshine 2. Even more sunshine.
or
my only question is how would we be able to get a part 2? Like, what would be the continuing story? And that's something I'd like trying to challenge myself to come up with potentials.
I would love it if Peach and Mario and their son go to Isle Delfino on a vacation, and it just turns out that Bowser Jr. is also there, so they get like Bowser Jr. and Mario Jr. get to dig up some shenanigans.
Have you ever played Magic Sword?
No.
So Magic Sword was a Capcom game, and one of its cool mechanics was throughout the game there were these like little dungeon cells, and you just see these like barred doors with these little hands, and when you used a key, you'd hear "thank you," and a character would come out and join you. I would love to see a Mario game in a 3D world like that, but it would be like Super Mario Rescue, and you start off as just Mario, and as you go throughout the game, different worlds, open world, whatever, you unlock different characters.
You want Donkey Kong 64?
Yeah, you unlock. Well, that's the thing, is why not put Donkey Kong in this? Make this a Super Nintendo game, like Super Nintendo World or something. Obviously that's a theme park, but unlock and basically play. Like, when I rescue Peach, suddenly I want to play as Peach. You can switch out on the fly. Like, just hit a button, it'll switch out.
Can have Princess Daisy. She could finally be in a mainline Mario game.
Hallelujah!
Oh my god!
No. I got one for you. The game is called Mario Heroes. Nix
Like
knows
Sonic
exactly what I'm doing, don't you?
Yes.
Team
So you got
Mario,
different-
Team Donkey Kong.
Team Daisy.
Yep.
Okay. Actually,
Team Rosetta or Team Rosalina and Luma.
no, Team Wario is Wario, Waluigi, and Bowsette.
There you go. Lucky Wario. Man. Yeah, like I love, like, if you remember back in the day on the 16-bit era, there was a game called Kid Chameleon, and you like it was basically like an attempt at like a Mario / game, but instead of getting a mushroom and getting a power up or a fire flower, you got a Jason mask and you suddenly could throw axes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to see that with either a Sega property where like I hit a button and all of a sudden this little blue spiked ball pops out, or red buckled sneakers. I get it and I turn into Sonic, or I get it and I turn into like the guy from Streets of Rage, Axel. Or
Here's
something.
the game that I want, and I want this game so badly. I want a 3D Super Mario RPG, but it's not just Super Mario. It's Super Mario and Sonic.
Oh,
so we get a full-on RPG, Super Mario RPG style crossover between Mario and Sonic. So you have Bowser and Robotnik teaming up.
Wow. Or dude, like they get fused together.
Bowser.
Yeah, like you get like a pot, like a mustachioed, like, oh, that would be freaking.
And imagine you have different teams like Shadow and Wario teaming up.
Yeah. You could build your own teams. Like you get default teams, and then later on you can start like building your own custom teams.
Oh yeah, like imagine so it's like a four-player squad, just to even this. So you have Peach, Rosalina, Amy, and I need another female Sonic character, and Rouge.
Yeah, giggity.
Tico.
Yeah.
From the first game, first adventure game. Tico.
No. Cream and Daisy are the pair that would team up.
Yeah, I don't like. I love the crossover stuff, and I love it when the mechanics work. Like, did you ever play the Raving Rabbids game, the SRPG with Mario and the Rabbids?
No, I heard it was pretty good though.
Dude, yeah, like that's one of the few things that I like. This dude that at Ubisoft that it was like his dream job or his dream game, and they allowed him to do it, and it was like watching a kid open a gift on Christmas Eve or on Christmas morning. But like, yeah, like. That was a good fusion crossover, and I
think the reason why that was allowed to happen is because Ubisoft was actually kind of a big supporter of Nintendo during the Wii U era.
Yep.
And I think Ubisoft and Nintendo are still on pretty good terms.
Yep.
Which is, and I think it's also like the Raven Rabbit crossover was probably successful. So like, hey, we love making money, and games people love the games.
Yeah.
I also love they got Grant Kirkhope to do the music, at least for the first one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that on CD. There's a soundtrack that came with the collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, I have the Mario Rabbids fusion characters in my display case. I'll post it to Twitter. But like, yeah, the collector's edition. I had these. It was 4 figures. One of them's Peach, Mario, Yoshi, and Luigi, but they're Rabbids. Yeah, it's freaking cool.
Can I just say, Ubisoft needs to do like another like Rayman game, because Rayman is their Mario. Like, yes, the Rayman Legends were good; they were good games, but you haven't done one in almost 10 years. Do something with Rayman, please.
Yeah, or even a Rayman crossover, Rayman and Mario. Like, make a Mario game with a Rayman crossover in there.
The last time they did something with them was for Laserhawk, and that was just more like, hey, I'm old and people don't like me anymore. I'm on my couch. I got, kind of thing. An alternate universe. Yeah.
Oh, dude, BioWare. That is another. That's not to be too dour, but we're gonna see BioWare on the chopping block soon.
Yeah, it all comes down because Veilguard was a flop. It all comes down to Mass Effect. You notice how like the leaks started to come out? They were like, get all the woke shit out of Mass Effect.
Yep. Yeah. Well, So when I was working on Firefall, the Greg and I can't remember the other Zezchuk or whatever, the guys, the doctors from BioWare actually came because we were considering trying to use BioWare or EA or whatever at the time. No, actually it was just BioWare. We were trying to get them to publish Firefall or at least take a look at the stuff. And when they like a week or two later, or like a month or something, some period of time later, we learned that they like got bought out by EA, and we're like, oh, dodge that bullet. Like they basically just sold their shit and left, and their games have been garbage ever since. I'm sorry, but like Mass Effect 3, the last hour of that game made me retroactively hate Mass Effect 2 and 1. And Mass Effect 1 and 2 are probably my like those are amazing games, an amazing world, and it was all destroyed in that last hour. Like I have no desire to ever play a Mass Effect game anymore. Like,
I mean, not only Mass Effect 3, but then Andromeda just like like they got back some goodwill with the Legendary Collection.
Yep.
You know, like they like enough that like if the fourth game is good, they're back. But if the fourth game is bad, they're done forever. Like just enough to like maybe make it.
Well, the Andromeda was just garbage. And I'm sorry, but when you do the pronouns game, you lost me as a customer. Like that's my
it wasn't just like the woke stuff, just on a technical level.
Yeah.
It was a failure.
Well, in a writing level, I'm sorry, but my face is tired. How did that get past anybody? Like, how did you not laugh as a QA designer where you're sitting there in your cubicle listening to that shit?
Or just like the facial animations, like they do the facial stuff. This is they're done. They're like neutral. They go right back to the neutral pose. It looks so unnatural.
Yep. God. Yeah.
I mean I realize in the infinite multiverse anything is possible, but I'm sorry, there is no alternate universe where that exists, Dave. I'm sorry, there is no alternate universe.
There's a furry in all of them.
Isn't a creepy furry.
He's a singularity.
Yeah, fake guy. They took out the ass shots.
Yeah, yeah, like stuff like that. I'm sorry, but you lose me as a customer when you pull that shit.
You lose the ass. You lose Chris.
You damn right. I'm an ass man. Skibbity bop dop dee bop up.
It's called Ass Effect, not Mass Effect.
Yeah, I mean that like, half the game was just trying to bone the chicks.
Oh, everything okay?
That was my cat doing his zoomies. Just knocked my keyboard.
Yeah, oh, God.
But yeah, like I mean, seriously, that was a funny side part of the game was like, who can you bang? Like, and it got really bad when like you just treated it like a crew member nice, and all of a sudden it went into a sex scene, and I'm like, abort! I'm not good to dudes. What's going on?
One of my favorite interactions was in the Citadel DLC. If you hear the Krogan race, Rex is like, dude, I'm getting so much sex. I have literally a line of women outside my door. It's exhausting. I'm having so much sex.
His 4 testes are exhausted.
I love it. I saw a clip of that. It just, oh, God.
Well, did you ever do like there's a bunch of hidden sex like options as well, where like characters that you can romance on the side that you didn't think were romanceable?
Chris, you have some answers. You have some questions. Oh, Nick, can you bonk Chris, please?
I can't.
Are you all out of bonks?
We.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. You remember Jessica Chobot was a side option? She was a reporter in that game, and like you could rant. I'm like, wow, I get to bang Jessica Chobot. Awesome.
but journalistic integrity.
Yeah, let's hope that the prophylactic had integrity.
I guess you could add I guess you could add Shepard to one of the 5 guys now. It's now the 6 guys.
Well, dude, there was this one option where you could bang this God, what the hell? What were the blue squid-headed chicks called? That alien race?
The Asari.
Yeah, the Asari. You can bang this one Asari that it's like part of like a side mission or whatever, and she will kill you. Like she has like a vampire, like her the character that you're doing in the quest is or trying to get at the end of the quest.
Have you ever played SWTOR? Have you played Star Wars: The Old Republic?
Yes.
They brought that horniness into the game. Like, you can just like sleep with random people in the game. Like, I remember I was playing this with Warrior, and I was doing this thing like, all right, let's have sex. Like, okay. Also, my companion, who I'm treating like shit, here, you got to come in and watch. Like, what? How did they get away with this?
He's just kind of standing there, like at the foot of the bed.
Dragon Age Origins and 2 had brothels you could visit. Inquisition did not.
Yeah. So the character was Vet. She was like a Twilight that was like had a slave collar, and the only way to, like, there was kind of reached a point in the romance to where you had to remove the slave collar to go further in the romance. And you could actually like do really like nasty things. Like, so at one point you got an apprentice, and like you shocked Vet, and the apprentice is like, "Hey, that looks fun. Let me try it." And then you throw her the thing, and then she oh god, I gotta look up that. But if you marry Vet, there's like a scene where like, "Hey, I still got my old shock collar. Want me to dig it out?" Like, you were a slave! How does that turn you on?
What is it? The
trauma.
Don't kink shame.
Human brains do weird things with their trauma.
Yeah.
Keep them from going insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Dave brings up a good point. IGN, like when Jessica Chobot was it featured in the game, and it's like IGN, just the site was littered with the Mass Effect 3 ads. It's like, yeah, how is that not a conflict of interest?
Okay. I gotta show you the scene.
I already prepared Jace's quarters. I'll go ahead and show her to them.
I didn't tell you to show her to her quarters, Twi'lek.
Fine. Excuse me for volunteering.
That's a handy toy. Might I try it?
Here, enjoy yourself.
Lovely. I just press this, right?
Hold it down a little longer, why don't you?
All right. Thank you for the tip.
What the fuck?
That's one of your companions.
Yeah. 2 of your companions. By the way, that's both of your companions.
You're in the middle of combat.
Somehow you don't end up dead in your sleep.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh wait, we can't give Kane and Lynch a bad score because Kane and Lynch is literally plastered all over our website this month.
Yeah. Like
I
this
don't
is
know
how
if you
you
guys remember
know
that.
Well, this is how you know that games journalism is a joke. Like when I was in the industry, dude, my boss, okay, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I wrote the review for the game that I worked on, and then we submitted it to PC Gamer, and they just editorialized it slightly or edited it, you know.
Yeah.
And then a lot, like all those games, like, dude, it sucks so bad when I was at that E3 and we're behind the doors or whatever, and we're listening to a bunch of out of touch execs like discussing how they could get our game into a keynote or into like the featured speech of Microsoft or Sony or whatever on stage for E3. And like nobody remembered the game, like the game they were working on's title, let alone even gave a crap about the content of the game. And I'm like, they're like, well, whatever it is, you know, we got like shooty stuff. And, you know, I don't know what it's called now. What are they calling it now? And I'm just like in the back, like, yeah.
What?
You know, yeah, they don't care. Like, this is all money to them, and that's why like IGN, Game Informer,
and here's the thing: the chickens are coming home to roost. Okay.
Yep.
Like game sales are dropping. Like honestly, I think video card sales are going to start dropping with this generation. Because if you noticed, Nvidia's like our 5000 series, it's all AI upscaling. Like, they can't even run Alan Wake 2 natively at 50 frames per second.
That's sad. Well, it's lack of optimization too. But
Yeah,
it
game development's part, but the fact that like we're running into like that shows that there is no like, oh, we can't put more ampere cores in here. We can't put we can put 50,000 CUDA cores in here, and it still won't make it look any better.
Yeah. Well, it shows you though that like, as far as game reviews go, though, I would rather listen to somebody like Asmongold talk about a game than go to IGN's website or
Like, I'm sorry,
Kotaku.
like I don't know why Indiana Jones and the Great Circle needs that much computing power when it barely looks. It doesn't even. It looks worse than Red Dead Redemption 2, which mind you was a PS4 game.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Is these games are all about, just get it out the door and then we'll patch it later. Like look at Skyrim. That. You remember when Skyrim came out? It looked like shit. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like when the original vanilla Skyrim came out, the animations looked hokey. The characters looked kind of ugly. Everybody's wrinkly for some reason. The harsh lighting, everything looked ass. And then all
children
of a sudden,
look like freaking potatoes, sentient potatoes.
Yeah, they looked like freaking the Doctor Who race there, the Centaurans. But as soon as the mods started coming out, we got like the realistic weather mods and like the whatever it was, the real foliage mods and stuff. And it was like you went from this ugly ass game to one of the most beautiful games I've seen in a long time.
But the mods make it run like shit, unfortunately.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like everything makes everything run like shit now. Like we used to have you remember EverQuest 2 when that game like limped across the finish line, and I used to get kicked off their forums for telling them that World of Warcraft is going to destroy them because their kind of approach was, well, we're going to make the game look awesome, but it's going to run like shit because it's built for future hardware, and it's like, yeah, that's not going to work. But meanwhile, Warcraft ate their lunch.
This is this is the PS3 version. All right, there we go. The new Galaga. Yeah, so this is the PS3 version.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the dull, desaturated tones. All the pixelated.
To be fair, that was a style at the time.
Yeah, was it the next gen brown? Next gen brown and gray.
Yeah, everything's so brown and gray. Yeah, that was like the late 2000s video games in a nutshell.
It looks very unappealing. Like look at how blurry the textures are on the quiver.
Like have you seen GTA 5 on PC? Like it looks okay, but it's like one of those like Vaseline games where it looks like
the full screen anti-aliasing kind of did double time for it. Yeah, I just this like the animations in this were so bad too. I remember there's this one mission in River Run or whatever the White Run. Yeah, where like you have to follow this female dark elf out of the castle to this battle taking place nearby outside of town, and she follows
that's like one of the first missions.
Yeah, and if you watch it, she follows a very linear train track of a path, and it's like, this looks robotic. This looks real bad. Like you didn't even get on a horse. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with like a lot of games where like they do these escort quests where it's like they walk faster than your walk speed, but not faster than your run speed. Like, why do they do that? Where like if you're walking, you overtake them. Like if you're walking, they're too fast for you. But if you get fast. Like why?
Yep. Yeah. You're never going to be able to like stick by them. You always have to stop or sprint.
That's why I really liked Witcher 3, to where if you're doing like one of those like if you start to run, they'll run. But here's the thing about Witcher 3: that doesn't always happen in the game. That drives me insane.
Yeah. Well, Witcher 3 is a perfect example, in my opinion, to compare and contrast to Skyrim. And I know that there's there's like a couple of years difference between them, but like out of the box, Witcher 3 was a prettier game. Like I liked the world; everything looked really nice in it.
I mean, there's a generational difference in technology. because Skyrim is essentially an Xbox 360 game.
Yep.
Witcher was made for PS4, so you got that as well.
Yeah, but like they have Skyrim with like what is Skyrim HD or remaster or whatever for the PS4, and it still looks awful compared to Witcher 3. And I'm not saying that to fanboy Witcher 3. I'm saying that as a objective, like the animations are better.
I mean, the thing is, I think a good comparison is Doom 2016 versus Fallout 4.
Oh God, yeah. Man. Yeah.
I want to point out too, because we were talking about, well, I brought it up earlier, Infinity Nikki.
Mhm.
Coming from a studio that has made essentially nothing but mobile phone games, making this big open world, and I'm on like the lowest resolution with medium graphics and everything, and it still looks fantastic.
Yeah, like that's a big reason why the Steam Deck is still able to be so relevant is it has a 720p screen. So you can knock the resolution down to 720p, and that gives you so much more headroom. And plus, it's like a smaller screen, so you can get away with like cranking these games down, and they still look good on that screen.
Yeah. Well, that and like what Nick had brought up, like boundaries or limitations breed innovation.
Mhm.
And if you're talking about a predominantly mobile game developer, they are working well within the confines of whatever they defined as their floor and ceiling hardware. And it's very limited or very constricting compared to a PC or compared to modern consoles. So they worked within their limitations and made something gorgeous. And it shows you that art style trumps like graphics or like graphical powerhousing. You know what I mean?
Like look at Jet Grind Radio for the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh God, yeah, cell shading,
like,
baby.
Yeah, look, that game came out like 99, 2000. So it's literally it's literally a 25-year-old game. Let me just
quarter century old game, and it still holds up.
Yeah, like if it had came out today, like, you know, people think, oh, it's a cool indie game.
Yeah, and that's why, dude, I love indie games. The smaller ones on Steam.
All right. Yep, I needed. We needed not. No music. No music. Like look at that. Like this like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is a spiritual successor game. It barely looks any different than this. Like this still looks good,
and it's fun. Like just moving around is fun. You know, it's the Shigeru Miyamoto style. Make a box and make it fun to move, and then add stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, I really don't like games where like I've been playing Gotham Knights. It's okay. There's some good things about it, but it's kind of like an okay game overall. 6 or 7 out of 10. But it has this thing where like if you don't move exactly the way they want you to, the game like freaks out or doesn't know what to do. Like Spider-Man has this problem, Uncharted, and a lot of other games were like, yeah,
you're not playing the way we wanted you to play. Well, screw you! I don't want to play by the rules.
Crazy how we can get games that look like Gollum. I mean, we can't. I mean, have you seen that? Like the attempt at the Gollum game they did last year?
Oh, it was so bad. Yeah.
You know? Did you notice how quickly that game just disappeared from our radar? Dude, like they buried that game.
I feel like they're doing their damnedest to destroy the Lord of the Rings and Tolkien stuff, because everything after freaking Jackson's film, those 3 films, everything has just been steadily getting worse.
Well, the thing with The Hobbit was Benicio del Toro was supposed to direct those films, but then he dropped out last minute. So I'm not going to put The Hobbit
he's prone to do.
I'm not going to put The Hobbit at Jackson's feet because he didn't like the Lord of the Rings. They had like 10 years worth of prep time for that movie. That's why it looked so good. And Jackson was an Uber fan. Like Jackson had like a year of prep time Like he had to rush to get everything together. So I'm not going to blame Jackson for The Hobbit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like I'm not really kind of putting the blame on a specific person, but just looking at the general quality decline since those Jackson films, since the Lord of the Ring trilogy.
I mean,
like,
the gatekeeper was Christopher Tolkien. Really, like, if you want to go for like the nexus point for when Lord of the Rings is, as soon as Christopher Tolkien died, that's when the floodgates opened, and that's when, you know, because I mean, you saw it. Like, as soon as he died, like literally the day he died, they announced all this stuff because the heirs don't care, you know, because they didn't know Tolkien.
Money. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, look at apparently they got an anime out called the something like the something of Rohirrim or whatever.
Yeah, like one character who was like maybe mentioned once or whatever.
Well, she wasn't mentioned by name in the Silmarillion or in the appendices, and instead of using the Anglo or Saxon kind of wording or naming conventions, like Eomer means like horse beauty or whatever, you know, like Eo means horse. So, you know, they're very horse-centric people. They literally give her the name Hera, which doesn't befit the Rohirrim. And they made her a girl boss. And it was like, you completely lost sight of why Eowyn was such a badass.
Like, okay, but was it like an anime or an American anime?
American anime.
Right.
Was it? I thought
it was a
cartoon.
cartoon.
No, they had like Japanese producers, and it was all like. Oh. It was originally, they even aired trailers in Japanese, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" True, but I was like, I saw the trailer and I shat on it immediately, and people are like, "Well, you got to eat the turd to realize if it tastes like shit or not." I'm like, "No, I don't."
Oh God, I hate that. Like when it comes to like our current landscape of like criticism, I am sick and tired of like, you didn't watch it, so you don't have a right to an opinion. I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer.
Played before, but I know how it's done correctly. You gotta keep it up in the air.
It's like, I saw the trailer. It looks like crap. Like like I remember with like I remember with like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Like I called it shit like a year out, like a year, 2 years out. And my friends were like, no, it's going to be good. I'm like, no, it's going to be crap. And as soon as it came out, the whole crap, they held on. They denied it, you know. So, yeah. It's just...
Yeah. The Last
of Us 2 fart sniffers. Sniffers are they're a breed upon themselves. I'm sorry.
And you know what really sucks? What sucks is like, The Last of Us 2 is an absolutely gorgeous game. The environments, the animation.
And mechanically, it's, from what I hear, it's good.
Yeah, and the people who worked on that are most likely going to be unemployed when The Last of Us 3 does not do as well and costs a shit ton of a budget to get out this garbage game that Druckmann wants to push his stupid propaganda.
No, here's what's going to happen, okay? This game, this Interstellar game, is going to bomb. So okay, we need to do something to save the studio. Let's do Last of Us 3, and then that's gonna bomb.
Yep. Yeah, and it's
and that's gonna be in the studio. They do it as a last ditch effort to try to salvage the studio.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed Shadows. But like the problem though is like I know the people that worked on the environmental art. I know the people that did the animations. These people didn't have a choice. These people are keeping their heads down while these ideologues like Druckmann bully their way through the office politics to start making all the shots. I can guarantee you that the people that I know that worked on The Last of Us 2 were disgusted and did not agree with the direction that game went.
Yeah, that's why I don't agree with bullying game devs. Like, bully Druckmann, bully Neil.
That piece of shit deserves
it. Bully him all you want. He deserves it. He asked for it. But like,
he's literally asking for it. Have
a random Naughty Dog dev, no, because odds are, and even if they are an ideologue, like disagree with them, like if they say something stupid, yeah, you want to like clap back, fine, but don't like be like whatever, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like all these games that are coming out that are like that. Like I can tell you, dude, it's like. Are you hiding the conservative developers under the floorboards? You know, like you got to keep your mouth shut and you got to keep your head down, because if you don't, I got labeled difficult to work with. I got the Henry Cavill treatment at times, because the moment you actually say, if you point out the Emperor is naked, that is a fast track to getting let go at a company.
I really think. See, the thing is, if Henry Cavill was literally in any other era, he would be Tom Cruise. He would be Tom. If he was coming up in the 80s or the 90s, he would be Tom Cruise level, because he's a freaking gorgeous man. He's a nice guy. He's actually a good actor. If you actually watch the stuff, he's actually a good actor. He's passionate.
He's a geek. He's one of us. The guys love him.
Literally any other era, he would have been a triple plus actor.
Yeah, you want to root him on, because he has a genuine love for these properties, and it's not something you generally see in video games and Hollywood these days. That's the kind of guy you need to get into these positions. I heard that they removed the female custodies from Warhammer because of him. Bullshit. He's like, look, I'm the producer on this. I'm sorry, but
you notice how they remove it, and then they as soon as it happens, they make a statement "Oh, guys, it's still on. Henry Cavill's still here."
Yep, I guarantee you that behind the scenes is don't turn this into more girl boss propaganda bullshit. Ryan Reynolds did the same thing with the Deadpool movie, and look what happened. That movie was a success.
I love how the story is so apparently they tried to bully him into putting She-Hulk into it. They tried to say, "Oh no, that didn't happen. That was for the Lego games." No, but it actually happened.
Well, you remember the fight scene at the end where Deadpool and Logan fight against the army of Deadpools?
Yeah.
Supposedly that was supposed to be X-23 by herself. Yeah, and they're and Ryan Reynolds fought for that. He's that's out of character. That's not how this works.
That is literally the emotional climax of the film.
Yeah.
Like the whole the Madonna song. He literally puts a cowl on. He does all that. It's that is one of the most important moments of the film.
Yep. Yeah. And what Fake Guy's saying about the Witcher show. Dude, I was a big fan of The Witcher when I saw Davidson. Well, they used to have on YouTube, it was free. Clearly somebody pirated it or whatever, YouTube pulled it off. But back in the early 2000s or mid-2000s.
The Polish one.
Yeah, they had the Polish or English subtitled Polish version, Davidson. And I was I love this. It was so well written. It was so well paced, and it didn't resemble the Netflix one in any way, shape, or form. And I was I saw the first few episodes of The Witcher on Netflix, and I was why is this feminist Harry Potter and Wakanda?
Well, the way I see it, the Polish Witcher show, it kind of felt like Hercules' Legendary Journeys, but Polish.
Exactly.
That is a compliment.
So good.
That is a compliment, by the way. All right. All right. All right, wait. All right, Herman, you poo-poo head. This is it, by the way.
Yeah,
This is the butchering of Blaviken, which, by the way, if you watch these scenes, they're actually if you compare it to the Netflix one, they're actually kind of close. They're actually very close. Also, this guy looks amazing as Geralt. Okay, I'm not going to show anything else because I probably would get whatever.
Dude, if you can find a copy of that bootleg or go on Etsy and get a pirated copy, I don't care. It's well worth watching, and it's really
okay. So I would say just search Polish Witcher show. I think it's in English. It's called the Hexer because that's actually the more literal translation. Yeah. Wizardrum or whatever. Exactly. Also, I just want to say this: I'm excited for Highlander with Henry Cavill. I think he's a great pick, and I think that movie has a capacity to be good.
Well, I'll keep giving Henry Cavill films and series a chance, but I'll tap out early if it's garbage. I only watched I heard a bunch of bad stuff, and when I saw the casting choices, what they did to Yennefer and stuff of the series, I was no, this isn't for me. But I'll watch it. I watched 1 or 2 episodes and I was I'm out. I didn't even.
Have you seen the movie The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yes.
anyone who watches that, like if you don't understand why people want him to be Bond, watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and you'll understand. He's basically Bond in that movie.
Have you seen what is it, the something of ungentlemanly
Ministry of Ungentlemanly? No, I need to see that.
It's really good, dude. You know who that Jack dude that plays Reacher?
Oh yeah, Alan Richardson.
He's in it, and he plays like like some type of Swedish guy, and he's like jovially like ripping a dude in half. He's like, "Yeah, look at the blood, yeah."
Okay, not only was Trish race swap, but the actress didn't do a very good job. I'm not attacking her personally. Jesus. I'm sorry, but he did not act like he was very bland. Because Triss is someone who has personality. You want to do like book Triss versus video game Triss, fine. But both versions, they're very much like a personality.
I found the entire, other than Cavill, I found the entire cast to be miscast.
I think the Yennefer actress, looks wise, was fine, and acting wise, I think she was up for the task. I think material let her down.
I think I don't have a problem with her as an actress. In fact, I think she's pretty good, but she is not Yennefer. I think she's like Pakistani or something, or like Indian. Like Yennefer is a European white, like she's Snow White essentially. She's got black hair. In fact, that's a theme when they said her characters. Like I got the art book, and they said her theme is black and white. When her skin or complexion is white, her hair is black. Her clothes.
I mean, The Witcher is just fairy tales but dark. I mean, that's the whole thing about The Witcher anyway. Like Renfrey is Snow White in the Seven Dwarfs, you know.
Yeah, and I just like, I think it's a disservice when you blackwash or brownwash or whatever the hell else wash European things, and because it's screwing over both sides. It's stealing the culture of the Europeans, and it's telling the people who aren't European that their cultures aren't good enough to explore, or their fairy tales or their folklore or whatever. So you should just shut up and take the white people's hand-me-downs.
Wait, Dave, are you saying that Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi cameoed in the Polish Witcher show?
What? Jocks are the Mighty and Italicus?
Like, I need some sources, sir. I think he's going off the fact that, like, I call the Witcher show like on the level of Hercules Literary, which it is. It very much is, and that is a compliment, by the way.
Yeah, I love. Do you remember? Was it not the Sword of Destiny? What did they call it? The there was another one that came. Remember that there was
Legend of the Seeker.
Yes, you knew exactly what I said. I loved it, and that reminded me of the Hercules and Xena stuff.
I could not. Well, Ted Raimi, because it was made by the production company that made it, and Ted Raimi actually does guest star on an episode of Legend of the Seeker.
Hell yeah,
he literally does.
I loved the entire cast of that show too. By the way, they had, remember Zed, the Australian guy?
Yeah, the guy from The Matrix.
Dad. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say, I tried to read Wizard's First Rule, which is part of the Sword of Truth series. I could not read it, but I saw some episodes of Legend of Seeker, and it's pretty entertaining. Yeah.
I miss that easily just fun, digestible fantasy that isn't preaching garbage. Like,
the thing that I miss most is episodic series.
Yeah.
Where you could just be like randomly, like a Saturday morning, it's like a random episode, be like, oh hey, Legend of the Secret Song, let's watch. You got a complete story, and then at the very end, like, okay, let's just wrap it up. Here's the story of the season. We'll do like the last 2 episodes. There's your story. Let's go on the next one.
Yeah. There's something to be said about that for all forms of media, comic books, TV series. Like, personally, my stuff is very progressive in the sense that it's procedural drama. Like, you don't want to watch it, and I don't necessarily say that's good or bad. It just means that the onus is on the creator to finish that shit, because I don't want a Firefly where I get into it, and then oops, it's done. Remember Sarah Connor Chronicles, dude?
I literally have the DVDs over there.
Yes. I saw the tweet. I was like, yes.
Well, the thing about the Sarah Connor Chronicles was the first season was because of the writer's strike. And then they gave it a full second season, which the second season is actually kind of good. Like, Shirley bringing in the girl from Garbage to be T-1000 was an inspired choice. She was amazing.
I loved it, yeah.
I
And, you know,
love like the
choice-
whole storyline where like it's like the daughter of the mother, like the daughter kind of realizes something is wrong.
Yeah.
And like there's moments where the Terminator is like she wants to try and be a mother. Like there's this moment where she tries to give the daughter a hug, and it's like all robotic, and the daughter's like clearly uncomfortable. It's like there's good writing in there.
Well, that and so Shirley Manson there, she wasn't part of Skynet. She was actually like, this is why I was so pissed off, because it ended in a cliffhanger where she saved John Connor and Sarah Connor, and I think that was Kyle Reese, where she turned into like a giant like manta ray to protect like she like fanned out in this big silver like whatever, because a bomb basically blew up and or a helicopter or something was like
I think that was a last minute addition because the character was very clearly trying to set up like Justice Day with like they took the Turk and then they're doing the John Henry stuff. Like he was developing something.
Yeah, well, John Henry was a Terminator. Like they were showing that like
he was a TX. He was a TX.
Well, they were showing that there were other AIs that went rogue. So there was Skynet, but something split off from Skynet, some other AI. So not only do you have the humans versus Skynet, but now you have this wild card. You don't know if they're going to help because they're fighting Skynet as well. And it's like, oh, damn, that's my enemy's enemy is my friend. Like,
I will say that is an interesting kind of like if you wanted to extend Terminator, I could see that being a natural development. And the other thing about Terminator is like alternate timelines are inherent to this show. One thing I love, there's an entire episode where like this girl comes back and she's like talking about stuff, which by the way, it's John Reese, it's Kyle Reese's brother. That's the 2.0 guy playing. And he says, I think he's like, the woman is actually from another timeline. So like the stuff she was saying, he had no idea. And I love that.
Yeah. Like the fact that when Sarah and John time traveled into the future, they broke the original Terminator 3 timeline, because in the Terminator 3, she died of cancer. And in this one, she was already traveled past the point where she died of cancer.
Yeah, and they touch upon it, and like there's this episode where they're in where they have to go to a nuclear reactor, and like in the climax, she has to go into the reactor to save it. She's like, "Is that how it happens? Is that how
That was awesome. I remember, yeah. Like, and by the way, that was Lena Headey. That was Cersei Lannister.
Yeah. Great actress.
Yeah.
And like Summer Glau was playing that.
Oh, I love Summer Glau. I think she's amazing, but she is a curse to every series that she's on.
But she was a great Terminator.
She was.
Wasn't she on Big Bang Theory at one point?
Yeah, she was in the last season.
She was playing herself.
She was playing herself. And that was the last season of the Big Bang Theory.
I think it was earlier. I think that was earlier. Actually.
When they're on a train or whatever. And it's like, that's Summer Glau. Oh, no, it wasn't that they went off the air. It was that there was a big strike or whatever that happened right after that.
No, that was 2007. That was the first season.
Yeah.
So she was in 2009. So this would have been season 2 or 3.
Yeah. What it was is somebody did a YouTube video showing how Summer Glau is a curse to everything that she's on, and something bad happened on the I think it was like a writer's strike or something right after that happened. And it was
during the writer's strike, she was doing Terminator TSCC. That's what she was doing. Oh God, the writer's strike killed so many good shows. Like, do you remember the Bionic Woman remake they did back then?
Yeah, wasn't that with what's her face? Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, Katie Sackhoff was a part of it, but it had Michelle Ryan in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Katie Sackhoff was like the villain, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like the first Bionic Woman.
Oh damn! Man.
So, yeah, this is the entire series. I watched this as it aired. I'm a fan. I remember this is like a few months after the show ended, and I saw this on my store shelves. Like, I'm getting this because I like the show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get this again. I think it's like you can get this pretty easily. But I liked it because it was like serious. It had some problems, but they were like kind of smoothing it over. It was made by the Battlestar Galactica people.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Let me read you some of the people: Michelle Ryan, Miguel Ferrer, Molly Price, William Lee, Lucy Kate Hale, Pretty Little Liars,
Oh yeah.
Isaiah Washington from Grey's Anatomy, and Katie Sackhoff.
Wow.
Oh God, Dave.
Man.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember?
I can't do that, Elon.
No. Do you remember? They originally were going to have a Wonder Woman series starring
Adrian Palicki.
Yes. And I saw some of the early shots. I was like, "Ooh."
Do you see these? Do you see what these are? These open doors.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like
that was a train wreck that I wish had gone to series. I wanted to see more episodes of that because it was a freaking train wreck.
Well, I think that was because it was maybe a casualty of that writer's strike. Like they didn't have a refined script. They just had to get it out there, so they shoved it out the door. But Adrian Palicki looked freaking amazing in that episode.
I mean, Adrian Palicki looks good in almost anything.
That is true. Was it Kelly Grayson there, Commander? There's like a statue of her. She's a religion in one planet.
Okay. I got the intro here pulled up.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, you ready for some cringe?
Gonna turn into potato bugs. Wonder Woman.
So much of this is gonna have to be cut out and post just because copyright claim. Oh God.
I have to say it, and I know this was a big fight back in the day, but Wonder Woman suit with pants, not my favorite thing.
I know. Well, it's weird because they have her in scenes without the pants. See,
yeah. And I will say Adrian does look good, but also having
Elizabeth
Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh damn! And Carrie Ellis. Wow.
Yeah, I really hope they had.
Pedro
Pascal! Oh my! God! Oh my God! Sorry, I'm freaking out right now.
That's pre-Oberyn Martell, Pedro Pascal.
No, he was a villain in Wonder Woman 1984.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You know he was on Buffy, right? You know he was on Buffy, right?
Oh God, yeah.
That's the guy from the Knight Rider reboot they did. I remember that.
See, I think she looks amazing in that.
Oh, she looks incredible.
And I'm one of those hardline Linda Carter defenders. I think that to me is the de facto Wonder Woman. But I think Adrian Palicki filled it out perfectly.
To be fair, I'm a Gal Gadot defender. I think she's a great Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I honestly was a naysayer, and then when I saw her in not the sequel because the sequel was garbage, but the first one, I was like, yeah, she pulls it off. I want to see more Gal Gadot Wonder Woman.
I like Gal's Wonder Woman because she pulls off not just the big tough warrior aspects of Diana, but also that scene when she's getting ice cream and she sees a baby for the very first time. That is Wonder Woman.
Yep.
That's the kindness and compassion of Diana Prince.
She plays off the naivete very well, but yeah. And it's I don't even mind that they homaged Superman. The scene in the alleyway where he catches the bullets or whatever. That's fine. I don't mind that. I think they played that well.
And honestly, I kind of like the Israeli accent for Wonder Woman. It makes
the
her
only
a little
problem
less
I have
American.
is because Gal Gadot had the Israeli accent. All the Amazons, he had Robin Wright, her accent's holding on like thread. He's trying really hard to hold on to that Israeli accent.
Buttercup, you got to work on your accent. Yeah, but I like that because the Israeli accent kind of sounds Mediterranean. It sounds like it could be Greek or so I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. My Hebrew's off. I can't speak Yiddish, so
Your Jewish ancestors are frowning upon you.
Well, yeah, my Jewish grandparents spoke French and Yiddish, and Hebrew, obviously. And I heard more French in the house than I did the other two. So.
Oh, okay.
Man. Oh mon dieu.
So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to be positive. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I guess we could segue back to the original topic, which was
Yeah.
positivity and negativity. So
Yeah, so like I try to be positive, even though I know it kind of costs me some outreach or whatever, because I'm playing the long game here. Like I know, because this happens to everyone who focuses on the negativity. Eventually, they either run into a wall, or the thing they were fighting against is no longer relevant. Like look what's happening on Twitter. Now that things are shifting back to normalcy, you're starting to see the right kind of
Well, semi-normacy.
yeah. Well, that's the problem. It's like a school of piranha. The minute they stop attacking that like ham hock that was thrown in the water, if one of those fish swims wrong, incorrectly in the school, they all turn on it and eat it. So they eventually eat each other. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to I don't like being an asshole. I know some people love it gives them kicks or whatever to like shit on people or like start trouble. I don't like that. I don't like people hating me. Like I don't go out of my way for that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I want to be liked, but at the same time, I don't want to be a sycophant. Like I hate those people who try way too hard to be likable, where it's like the whole sickly sweet or like the kind of thing. Herman, you are banned, sir. You're banned for uncovering my scheme. I am censoring you. I am giving you a permanent suspension. I'm not banning you. I'm giving you a permanent suspension. There's a difference. I'm Facebook. I'm Twitch. There's a difference, okay?
Serbian version of 16 chess.
Sorry, can I just say I love how I was doing that thing and I just like switched to a smile at the end and be like, yeah, I'm joking.
No, I just need that scene from Scanners where the guy's head explodes. That's what I think of Serbian 60 chess.
Oh God, no! You get that scene when God, Zuckerberg, he is trying so like I think Zuckerberg saw the writing on the wall like a long time ago. Like when he grew his hair out and we started doing the jujitsu.
Oh yeah, he hired a PR specialist.
Yeah.
Like he's being told how to emulate humanity. That man is not a human.
They're programming the Zuckerbot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like never trust the crocodile. That
I can't. Whatever you gotta say about the man, he loves his wife, and I can't fault him for that. Come on, there's some humanity in that robot.
And the thing I'll say about Elon is, does he make mistakes? Does he put his foot in the mouth? Yes, but Elon is still human, and I respect the fact that like he still acts like a human being.
Well, Elon is great until he's not. Like there's been a lot of things he's done to help us, but I found it hilarious when he got ratioed, and then it instantly like switched an algorithm. Like, dude, he nuked a lot of accounts that I followed. Like suddenly they weren't just dechecked or decertified or whatever. They were gone.
My follower count went way down like sporadically, and then some of them.
My follower count has been like going down. Like my follower count has been like hovering between like okay. No, I'm sorry, I have to go check now. It's been hovering between 750 and like 780 for like the better part of this year. Like I get some and then it'd go down. I'm hoping it's starting to stabilize and go back up, but
I'm currently at like 890 followers because of something I posted a few days ago.
Which by the way, when I say 750, I mean 3,750. I gotta get that flexed in.
Yeah,
but it's like I don't know. It's kind of funny because like I was really close to getting 900, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people like started like I don't know, just kind of Thanos snapped out of existence.
I do find it somewhat amusing when I say I say something that I know is controversial and I say it, and then like a half hour later I see like, oh, I lost 5 people, whatever. Oh God, I say perhaps if a Zuckerbot can learn to love, then perhaps any of us can.
Yeah.
I go.
Yeah, you need it in like a speak and spell voice.
Oh wait, okay, I'll try it again. Perhaps if a Zuckerbot can learn to love, then any of us can.
Zuckerbot, love hard.
No,
Zuckerbot loves
real, though.
jujitsu.
The way the thing the statue he made for his wife, that was really cute.
Yeah,
And
but
you can tell she really appreciated and like
like
dude, I'd marry him.
I don't know, like
You want a
Dude,
statue of yourself, Nick? Just admit it.
no, they're not people,
Shy.
dude. Like these are like they put on people characteristics, but they're not people. Like these are not human beings. Like everything that we see of these, these American deities or whatever is so fake and so prepared. And, like I honestly, like when I worked in the entertainment media, it blew my mind how fake people were. Like I saw when you see the mask slip or when the veil drops completely and you're like, oh my God, these are horrible people. Like, you look at their social media and they're like these amazing, beautiful, happy lives. But in real life, they're freaking monsters, dude. Oh, damn.
Yep.
Yeah. I tend to just let it flow, and I'm paying the
Yeah.
price. So Herman, you're doing better than me. So by the way, congratulations on getting 2,000 followers, Herman. That is an achievement. So thank you.
I'm doing my best to call the bots out of my followers too. It's just
Yeah.
it's gotten so hard to tell.
See, what really
sucks?
What really sucks is you do a post and then you get a like and you see, oh, it's a porn bot. Or what's even worse is when the porn bots stop liking your post. Like, oh man, not even the porn bots are interested in me.
I hate when my timeline, like, I don't want to put like an adult filter or whatever on my timeline, but like I don't follow any of like the porn stuff, and I'm flitzing through my timeline and I'm like, yeah, that's a naked chick, or yeah, that's a sex act right there. Yeah, I don't want to see that, so I'd like hide it. But it's like it's people that I follow like or repost things, and it's like there needs to be a better way to cull your, because I don't want to. Well, I don't. I don't want to like put an adult because there's a lot of artists that will do like art nudity or whatever, and I got no problem with that. But it's like when there's like a cosplayer and she's got her freaking clam out, I'm like, dude, like I don't need to see that.
At least like put like some sort of like a happy face over the kitty,
Yeah, and not only that, there are other times where I will share somebody's artwork because I like to share artists that support them, and suddenly I get like this like arbitrary like your content has been censored or whatever because it's contains material or whatever. And I look over at the original post and I'm like, why is that not censored but mine is, and I'm just sharing it? Like, what is going on?
Wait. Just wait until they discover Keanu Reeves buries in his crawl space. I mean, we all know that Keanu Reeves is a vampire, so.
Internet boyfriend, Keanu Reeves.
But yeah,
you could never make me hate that man. He is a treasure.
He's just so breathtaking.
Well, I like the fact that like he helped schlep up all of the production equipment when I think it was The Matrix. There was one, or John Wick's, one of those. He was helping the film crew move their shit because he was on a downtime, and he's like, "Oh, I might as well be useful." And then he bought like I think it was the entire camera crew or somebody, a whole bunch of like motorcycles and stuff.
Okay, the story is his stunt team for The Matrix. He Reloaded Revolutions. He bought the entire stunt team Harleys. Like, he didn't even cheap out. He got the good shit for them.
Yeah.
Someone put me with Keanu Reeves. I want a fucking motorcycle.
Well, that, and he takes public transportation. You can find in downtown LA. You'll see him on a bus.
He funded a dude's wife or kid's surgery or whatever at one point too. I don't know the full story, and I can't remember where I saw it. But I was like, that that is a good man. Like, he's the kind of guy who just goes up and is, like, really friendly with people. I vibe with that.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad because I never thought, like, 2000s were a bloodbath for Keanu. Like, that was, like, peak of, like, Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor, but he must have hired, like, a really good PR firm in, like, 2010s to just reshape his image. Because, but I gotta say, I love this because, wait, sorry, we gotta put this one with sound because this one is pure Keanu because this is not planned.
I have that same.
Okay, but let me tell you, the feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
Like, I'm sorry. Even if I heard that this was like a planned stage event, I won't care because I love it. Like, I saw this live because I was watching the E3 presentation of this. I remember when I saw it; it was just so great.
Nice.
Oh God, I love Keanu Reeves. But yeah, let's wrap up here. If you haven't, please make sure to like this, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I will be on with Nix tomorrow playing some Breath of the Wild.
Woo!
And then we got lots more stuff coming next week, so that's going to be pretty sweet. And yeah, Chris, thank you. Nix, thank you as well. So everyone, I really appreciate you. This was a really fun stream. I would like to announce the Friday night feature, which will be happening in 3 weeks. We will be covering the movie Warcraft, and we will have Melee K and Melee James there, so that's going to be a really good one. So watch out for that.
Nice.
And as always, this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. Remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.